And Amma, she has a wonderful testimony. I want her to share. Amma.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I hope you had no problem coming to church today because yesterday the snow was pretty severe, right? I don't know. I agree with him about the spring opinion. So I saw while I coming up to church, I saw a car that is totally like upside down on the street. So I was like, oh, my heart kind of sank. So I kind of pray for them while I'm coming up here. And I hope, anybody who got into accident or anything happened to them because of the snowstorm, and I send my prayer for them too. Today, my husband, he want me to share about testimony about the praise and worship. So that's why I came. It's not, regular, the thing that I come up before him, but I want to share about why we want to praise and worship, even though we don't feel like sometimes. That's I had a small testimony, so he wanted me to share it, so I came out here. When our family came to Pennsylvania, I really experienced the very bottom of my life. I feel like nobody's really understand us, and we are totally kicked out from Korea, and then palace, and then we have no community. I know people will speak bad about us, framing us, and all that. And I really feel like I'm like a David when he was in the lowest time of his life, when he's in the Gislag's cave. He lost his general position. He lost his wife. King Saul is constantly trying to kill him, and then he had to pretend he's crazy because to spare his life from his enemy. So I really felt the lowest of my life. And at the same time, I feel like crazy busy to take care of my 5 children. They have to go to school, make a lunch, and all that, that we have to do regularly to keep up our life. And I was so busy. And then I can see myself sinking more and more and more to the bottom and becoming more negative, and more negative. And I realized, you know what? I cannot do this anymore. And I surrendered. You know what? I cannot overcome this with my power. But I know one power that can overcome this. That was God. Right? That was our Christ. That's our Christ. So I really relied on my strength on our Father. But how? Will I pray all day long without abandoning all my responsibility as a mother and wife and a pastor's wife? But I realized one thing I can all the time I do while I'm driving, while I'm doing dishwashing, while I'm doing laundry, only thing I can do all the time is praise worship. So I decide to do praise worship all the time. I mean, literally all the time. So I even wrote down print out all this lyric of my favorite praise worship song, and I stick it on the kitchen cabinet in the laundry room. And whatever I do, whenever I feel like I'm gonna think about negative and then this disaster and then end of my life, whatever I get into, I start to sing a praise and worship song. You know what? I'm going to trade my sorrow to the joy of the Lord. Declare it. You know what? Right now, this is like the lowest bottom of my life, but I know the morning will come and I will celebrate His glory again. So that's been my life. And a couple of weeks ago, while we are doing praise worship service, it was a family worship day, so all our children and the Sunday school children were staying in the sanctuary, and my 9 years old and then my 11 years old boy is standing right next to me while I'm doing praise worship. I tried to get into it, but they're constantly bumping me, and then they're constantly talking to me, "Mommy, when it's gonna end?" They're constantly asking me, "Oh, please help me, honey. It's not a time to talk. You do praise worship too," but they're constantly giving me feedback. "Oh, Mommy, that person looks funny," and whatever they want to say. And then right behind me, our lovely brother, our Robert, it's helping me great to get into praise and worship too, because he was once choir, and then his choir, the head of the choir, came to him and, Robert, you sing like a bird. And then Robert said, oh really, I never heard of that. Yes, you sing like a bircher.
A vulture.
Bircher. So think about in my perspective. I still love you, brother, okay? Even though you can't sing. That's not the criteria for God's love either. So, think about in my perspective. Here's my two boys constantly, nagging and driving me down. And right behind me, Robert's singing. Oh my gosh, I really did not feel like praise and worship. Praise and worship did not come out my heart. But you know what? I still did the praise and worship. Because I know there's a power that even though I don't feel like a praise and worship, it's not my emotion, it's not my circumstance that determines my relationship with God. But His word is so good. His love is so good because He is so good. That's why I praise worship Him. My husband asked me to share this another story, so I'm gonna spend a little more time. But, I'm a type of person that is it's like how to say, it's like a glass. You can tell what I'm thinking from a mile away. So I can't really hide things so well. And if you know me, for me it's very hard for me to say that, oh, God spoke to me. God spoke to me this. You know what? God told me to do this. Saying this is very uncomfortable for me because I saw so many people misuse that. I saw so many people who justify using that word to meet their end. So I was like, I kind of hysterically didn't like that, phrase. Oh, God told me. I heard God's voice. But you know what? After I really realized that from Pastor's sermon that, listening to God's word is not about, doing the power trip and then doing the ego boost. It's not about that. It's about, wow, God's word is this great. And then God's word make me really humble, make me a better person. When nobody can remind me how selfish I was, how egoistic I was, He reminds me. He hits my conscience constantly. That is what God can talk to me. Think about it. If we are truly sons and daughters of God, if we are truly bride of Christ and body of God, then are we supposed to listen to Him directly instead of channeling some kind of spiritual medium? Why do we need a spiritual medium or go somewhere else to get God's message? See how strange it became? And then you know what? I heard God's voice. And I can say that with no shame because I know His word is there to not to make myself claim I'm the next spiritual medium and don't worry about it, I'm not going to do that. And you can check on me. But it's there to make me humble and make Him love more. See how great and exciting it can be? I'm just, wow, it's amazing how amazing it can be. And I really hope that you can feel the joy and the happiness that I'm feeling from God's word. And one night, okay, enough introduction, right? Okay, I'm going to tell you what God told me. One night, it was at 3 o'clock in a.m. And all of a sudden, I woke up and I was like, I woke up and I couldn't go to sleep. And then I heard God's voice. And then He told me that, look at your closet. Okay. Look at my closet at 3 a.m. And He said, look at your closet and how messy it is. That's what he told me. So I'm like, oh God, I know my closet is messy, so I'm planning to clean it up. And I'm talking to God. And then he told me something further. He told me that, think about your spiritual life. Is your spiritual life is that messy? Clean it up. Clean it up, your spiritual life. Just like as you clean it up your closet. If you don't clean it up, it will the sin and the bad thing will pile it up. And then you won't even able to find where I am. So I realized that. And then that day I started to clean it up. And as I clean it up, guess what I did? I did a praise and worship too. I was singing, I was celebrating, and then I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not a very good person to organize and making it clean and things like that. But that day I was really enjoying it because I know that when we even clean up our spiritual life, He's gonna perfectly show our way. Because He's our salvation. He's the everlasting life. He's the water that we can draw salvation and life and truth from, sister, brothers. It truly is. And when we really know that His voice, He's our shepherd, and we can hear, we are like His sheep. And if we really make the antenna to listen to Him, then we can hear Him. We will know His voice, we will recognize His voice from the other voice, brothers and sisters. And let us praise, worship, because He deserves all that grace. And thank you.